Come out of my pulpit. Let me take my pulpit back. Let me take back my pulpit. But I go. See, they call you back. I will still call you people back. Oh. I will still call one of you back or two. Any one of you want to comment, you still come back. But me, let me continue my message. Let me collect my pulpit back. I think they are comfortable on my pulpit here. So 1 John 4:20 says, if someone says, I love God and hates his brother, he is a liar. For he who does not love his brother, whom he has seen, how can he love God whom he has not seen? When we love people too much, that is the aspect we are talking about today. Mm-hmm. This is what makes love to turn to hate. So love turns to hate when we cross the line. When we love people too much, we eventually hate them. I'm sorry. Because we make them become our source. Our source and the source of our support. We replace God with those we irrationally love. When we irrationally love people, we displace God. We replace God, we unseat God, and put those people in their place. I don't know if you are getting it.
Yeah.
When you love somebody too much, you are dethroning God from your heart, from your life, and setting those people there. Nobody can stand in the place of God because they cannot, they cannot bear the burden and the pressure. That burden demand kills them. God is unlimited, it's infinite. So your demand doesn't even affect him at all. But on people, it crushes them. We elevate people to the place of God when we love them too much. Making them crumble from that height. We elevate them too much. Like the tower, Tower of Babel. Anything you elevate too much, that will crush. So that initial love that you had for them eventually becomes hate or indifference. That's the reason. Especially when they do something we don't expect from them. Yet, God will make them go wrong. God himself will make those people to do things that are wrong. God himself will intentionally make them go wrong to set you free from dependency on man. So Matthew 5:16 says, let your light so shine before not this one. Do not think that I came to bring peace on the earth. Like I've explained this many, many times. I did not come to bring peace, but the sword. The sword is to detach and to deliver you from this kind of situation. For I have come to set man against his father, a daughter against a mother, and a daughter-in-law against a mother-in-law, and a man's enemy will be those of his own household. You see, sometimes we think those things are bad. So can you now understand why conflict in the family or conflict between husband and wife is a blessing? Or not?
Yeah, it is.
You understand now?
Yeah.
Okay, now can you now understand also why there will never be an ideal family? So when those pastors come up and tell you that we have ideal family, we never have any disagreement, never gets wrong, you know it's a lie. God himself will not allow for it. Because that is the balance. It's just like the heart. If you are in the hospital, when there's the measurement of the heart, when everything is balanced, when everything is just straight line, that is not good though. When I used to go to the hospital and I used to see those lines come and say, problem, oh. It's supposed to be straight now. But it was later when I discovered that when the line is straight, that is when Adelaja is in trouble. But when it's going zigzag like that, that is the real life. That is how life is supposed to function. In zigzags like that. But we We want it to just be full, smooth, straight line, peace, everything perfect. There is a situation like this that we are reading now. 2 Samuel 13, verse 2 and verse 15. Amnon, all of you should know this story. Amnon was so distressed over his sister Tamar that he became sick, for she was a virgin, and it was improper for Amnon to do anything to her. Then Amnon hated then he did, he slept with his, these are two, they are from different mothers, but they are from the same father. He slept with his sister, and then after, he said he couldn't live before. He was sick because he loved her so much. He couldn't even eat. He loved her so much. But after he slept with her, he hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred with which he hated her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. And Amnon said to her, arise. No, anyway, he chased her away after that. So I want us to see another video here. I want us to see other videos that will help us to illustrate what we are saying. And I think we got the point. I think the point came across, but these other videos will really help us to have an idea of what we are saying. Unfortunately, the kind of churches that we have in Africa is rather encouraging this kind of idolatry. Children, wife, husband, family, success, money. Anyway, let's have a look at this testimony.
I remember my stepfather, would beat me, and he would beat me with extension cords and hangers and, pieces of wood and all kinds of stuff. And, after every beating, he would tell me, it hurt me more than it hurt you. And, I only did it because I love you. It was kind of, it communicated the wrong message to me about what love was. So for many years, I thought that love was supposed to hurt. And I hurt everyone that I love. And I measured love by how much pain someone would take from me. And it wasn't until I came to prison in an environment that is devoid of love that I began to have some sort of understanding about what it actually was and was not. And I met someone, and she gave me my first real insight into what love was, because she saw past my conditions and the fact that I was in prison with a life sentence for murder. And not only for murder, but for doing the worst kind of murder that a man can do, murdering a woman and a child. And it was Agnes, the mother and grandmother of Patricia and Chris, the woman and child that I murdered, who gave me my best lesson about love, because by all rights, she should hate me. But she didn't. And over the course of time, and through the journey that we took, that's been pretty amazing. She gave me love. And she taught me what it was.
What makes us human? Love. will have to watch this thing again. I really want you to get another information to rock that into again. No, people sparkle in these things are. This is a very, very, very powerful story, and I don't think you people got it. Let's watch it again. Can we watch it again, please? Let's watch it again. You people have got to watch this thing again. Okay? Bullshit. Here we go.
I remember my stepfather, would beat me, and he would beat me with extension cords and hangers and, pieces of wood and all kinds of stuff. And, after every beating, he would tell me, it hurt me more than it hurt you. And, I only did it because I love you. Which kind of, it communicated the wrong message to me about what love was. So for many years, I thought that love was supposed to hurt.
Stop. Wow. What comes to my mind is the story of somebody who died and went to heaven. A pastor. He had a clinical death and went to heaven. And when he was leaving, he met Jesus. And Jesus told him, go and tell your story of you meeting with me. And tell them that I want everybody to come to heaven. I didn't create hell for human beings. I created heaven for them. I want everybody to come here. So the man just said, what do you mean everybody? Because Jesus was emphasizing everybody. He said, you mean the rapist also? You mean the rapist and pedophile? First of all, he was saying, you mean the gay? We want the gay people to come here? I can't understand that. Okay, forget about the gay. What about the pedophiles? People who are raping children, who are raping women, who rape boys, who rape girls, who kill them. You want them to come here? He was a pastor on earth. Somebody who is supposed to be helping people to get to know God. But he was the one that was more irritated at what Jesus was saying. And Jesus said, yes, I want everybody to come. He said, what? To heaven? Rapists? Pedophiles? Gays? Lesbians? He said, yes. And Jesus told him, wait, you yourself, you think you qualify to be here? You think you qualify to come to heaven? You think you qualify to come to heaven? Why are you surprised? Why are you saying that I shouldn't allow, it is my heaven, it's not your own heaven? Not you created this heaven, I created it. I am now telling you that go tell people that I want everybody to come to heaven, and you are now fighting me that I shouldn't allow some people to my own heaven. You yourself, are you qualified to be here? Why should you think you qualify to be here? Then he was saying, well, I'm sorry, Jesus, but, what about the pedophiles? The pedophiles, I'm talking about those who rape, as he was explaining to Jesus, I'm talking about those who rape 5-year-olds and kill them and tear them to death. So Jesus said, you think they are not qualified to be here? He said, well, that's what I wouldn't have allowed them to come here. Then Jesus said, none of you is qualified to be here, number one. Number two, come. That pedophile that you are talking about, pointing, accusing finger at, that is not qualified to be here. First of all, before me and before God, none of you is qualified. You are all the same. Sin is sin. Secondly, you don't know the background, the history of whatsoever led that guy to become that pedophile. You don't even know that pedophile that you are talking, that you are hating, that gay that you are hating, that lesbian that you hate, those people that you are pointing a fingers to, you don't know, maybe they are even victims. They themselves might be victims. You don't know what is behind what they did. Then they are saying, then the man said, but what about these little children he raped? What about the little children he killed? Then God said, I handle that. That's my problem. That's why I had to die for everybody. For you, who is a pastor, for the pedophile, and for the gay, for everybody. I died for everybody. I already paid the price for every one of them. Now, let's look at what this guy is saying. This guy said, when he was growing up, his own understanding of love was connected to pain. Pain. And it brings something to my mind that most of our African people also have been damaged like this man. We have been distorted in our mind. Most Africans have been distorted. I tell you this one. Most Africans have been damaged in terms of love. Most Africans also, just like this child, just like this man, also think like him. Because what has happened to him is that because the stepfather used to beat him with your extension cord, trees, and things like that, and then tell him that is love. So in his mind, it was recorded in his mind that love is connected to pain. Just like with some other people, there are other people in Europe here where it is the opposite. Love is not connected to pain, but there must be balance. Love could be connected to pain and also without pain. But most people, love is connected only to pleasure. That is also wrong. That would be another extreme. But this is another extreme which we don't normally come across, where love is connected to pain. So the expression of love that was recorded in this man's mind now is torture and pain. So for him now to see, so as a young man growing up, he see that whenever my father loved me, he will beat me. So that has become his own expression of love. And that is what has given birth to, what do you call it? Masochist? No, sadist. You are giving back to sadist and sado.
Sadist и
Sadomasochist. Masochist. Wow. Sadomasochist. So who are these people? Sadomasochist people. Sadomasochist people are people who get pleasure by inflicting pain. There was a woman that came to our church that told me such horrible stories that I never knew these things exist. This woman was so despised by her husband. She had 2 children, but she was so despised. She's fat, big, and she doesn't think anybody can love her. But then she fell into the hand of a man that will give her everything love. But then they are successful men. So they are politicians. But then they rent an apartment in town where they find women that just want love at any cost. And what they do is that they would undress her, beat her, put bottle of champagne in her private part, to take their hand like this inside, in her private part, do all kind of things to her. Sadist people. They getting pleasure only when she's crying and she's dying like that, then they release. Some other ones, they make you to beat them. Some other ones, they get prostitutes and make them to eat their feces. and or to take urinate, to urinate into them. Why? Because they were being damaged in their brain, in their something while they are growing up, and they have not been able to confess and to tell people what has happened, because these things are so secret. This is a high secret, and it takes very mature people to listen to them. But they could be delivered though. But because they keep these things in them, they don't share with anybody, and it's like it's top secret, and they keep on living through life like that. So this is what this guy was doing, because he was beaten so hard, and they were telling him that beating, that pain is love. So his own expression of love is that he started raping women, and not just raping them, but inflicting pain on them. And that is how it gets started. And he's proving to her that she loves them. So, not just women, boys, friends, inflicting pain and telling them that is love. And killing. So that's how he killed a woman and the child, raped them, he killed them. And then the mother of that woman that was killed, which is the grandmother of the granddaughter, was the one that his own relatives have rejected him. His own family has rejected him. They don't go to see him in prison. You know what's going to see him in prison? The mother of the woman, who is the grandmother of this child, that now was going because she was a believer. He killed her daughter, killed her granddaughter, but she was the one who went to express real love to this man. Let's hear his story further.
And I hurt everyone that I love. And I measured love by how much pain someone would take from me. And it wasn't until I came to prison in an environment that is devoid of love that I began to have some sort of understanding about what it actually was and was not. And I met someone, and she gave me my first real insight into what love was, because she saw past my conditions and the fact that I was in prison with a life sentence for murder, and not only for murder, but for doing the worst kind of murder that a man can do, murdering a woman and a child. And it was Agnes, the mother and grandmother of Patricia and Chris, the woman and child that I murdered, who gave me my best lesson about love, because by all rights she should hate me. But she didn't. And over the course of time, and through the journey that we took, that's been pretty amazing. She gave me love, and she taught me what it was.
Do you now understand why this message is so much needed in Africa? Only love overcomes hatred. What power could have changed someone like this, who was hurting everybody, who believed that he was loving when he was hurting, who was raping, killing people everywhere? What power could have stopped that kind of adversity, that kind of hatred, only real, genuine love? Real, genuine love. This is what the church in Africa lacks, and they don't teach. What power can change the herdsman? What power can change the terrorist? What power can change the Muslims? What power can change people that are hardened with hatred? Only real and genuine love. The love that is Christ's understanding of love. Not human understanding of love. I don't know if any one of you would like to comment on this one. Then I will still like us to show another one when love turns to hatred and children are killing their parents. Right.
You know, I've listened to several Muslims, and one of the things that Muslims cannot understand about the words of Jesus is when Jesus says, love your enemies. And I've watched a lot of research and a lot of interviews, and just the idea that Jesus is saying, love your enemies, they can't fathom it. And the more we dive and the more I understand the depth of this topic, I can see the wisdom in God.
In God saying, only love can overcome hate now. Even me, how I was attacked because of this S-Men thing. Or because of Buhari thing. People leave the platform. People go into start program against me. But just because they are the ones who don't understand what I understand though. It's not because I'm foolish. They come and say he's foolish. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You know I'm not so foolish. It's not because of foolishness. It's just because I understand something that they don't understand.
And that's just, I mean, you know, Jesus is saying, pray for those who persecute you, bless them that curse you. I mean, all of those words are like, what do you mean? I mean, it doesn't make sense with just superficial understanding. But
for me, it makes a lot of sense. It's the only thing that makes sense.
But now it's making sense that there is no greater force on earth
than the force of love.
Love. There is no greater power on earth than the power of love. Love conquers all, and it's in the scripture. It says love conquers everything. There is nothing that love
overcome evil with good.
It's good.
Okay, let's have a look at another one whereby love turns